It's a new year. Did we get any better? Probably not, but here we go. Welcome to whatever this is. Let's go. Welcome to Cutting Edge Hero! I am the Nerd King, Danny Stewart, your host for this and most episodes of Cutting Edge Hero. Joined in the studio today by my main compadre, my one-time womb mate, my big brother extraordinaire, Joey. Joey, how's it going?
Doing good. Glad to be back. Missed it.
That's what I love about you is how you match my energy. Landon Felter, the greatest co-host in the history of co-hosts, joining us from the faraway apartment studio in St. Louis. Landon, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. And to clarify, that is an apartment studio, not a studio apartment. Not struggling that much.
So we have been away for a little bit. We did a little brief pre-New Year's show just to say, hey guys, we're still alive. Right. But we haven't we've got a lot of things we haven't been able to cover. So we got some news coming up. We're going to be doing a hit list all about your 5 favorite things that are useless in a video game, but you love anyway. Some of us may have followed that correctly. Some of us may not have. And some of us may have chosen to opt out of this list altogether. But that's okay. No judgment. But if you are following the show, if you are in the comments, go ahead and get your list together of whatever 5 video game things you want to talk about is, and we'll jump into them. Justin Quick in the chat says, first one to say hi. Thank you, Justin. First hi of the year, first comment of the year. Justin, we appreciate you and all of your support. Guys, I like to open this show with a fairly niche thing, and that is to talk about what the nerdiest thing we have done this week is. Landon, would you like to lead us off?
Sure. Honestly, this isn't the nerdiest thing I've done this week, but this is kind of a nerdy thing I've got going on for a little bit. I've subscribed to Game Informer. They came back with physical magazines again, and I was just so excited to finally be able to have something physical to hold in my hand again. I miss magazines, guys. I really do.
Yeah. I've got a collection of vintage Playboys. It's like masturbating in a time machine.
Oh, were you one of those guys that kept them in a log out in the woods?
No, I'm also a dendrophiliac. I was keeping something else in the log out in the woods. But yeah, no. So what is the subscription process for Game Informer now? Because it used to be you bought something at GameStop. So what's the process now?
It really is just going onto their website and subscribing. It's as simple as that.
I repeatedly ended up with Game Informer subscriptions without ever doing anything other than just like GameStop having my address and I bought a game. And they're like, "Oh, you are still alive? Here's your magazine.
Here, have a magazine."
And back before that, when it was EB Games, it was still you got the Game Informer subscription with everything. But no, I will probably follow suit. You are a trendsetter. I will probably sign up to get my own Game Informer subscription as well.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Joey, what is the nerdiest thing you've done this week?
You know me and my games. I've been trying to better myself at marshmallows.
Oh yeah, we were playing Super Marshmallow the other day. Yeah, that's
Super Mallow.
That is Super Mallow. Yeah, that is a fun card game.
Good.
Are you familiar, Landon?
I am not.
Have you ever played the card game Golf?
No.
Okay, then you have no frame of reference for this.
None whatsoever.
But anyway, it's a game Joey
being in the
introduced me
dark.
to. You basically, it's like memory and God, what else would the other game combine to make it? Because you have 6 cards face down in front of you. You get to look at 2 of them to start the game, and then you swap cards out as you play. And if you can match up pairs of certain cards or whatever, you can eliminate them. And the person with the lowest score at the end of the game is the winner, which I assume is the golf connection.
Right.
But anyway, they got this game called Super Mallow. They've also got a game just called Is it just Marshmallow or is it just Mallow?
I think it's just Mallow.
Okay, Mallow. Anyway, it's a card
Pick it
game.
up at your local Walmart. It's a good game to pick up.
Get it at the Walmarts.
Yeah.
Nerdiest thing I have done this week, I have been playing Expedition 33. A little behind the ball. You know, it swept all of the game awards for both the Game Awards and then the IGN Game Awards afterwards. It is a highly praised game. It got into a little bit of murky water shortly after the Indie Game Awards because they had used AI to mock up the game, but then they cleared up that they didn't use anything AI related in the actual game development process. I guess they've cleared their name there, but the game's fun. Not typically a fan of turn-based games, but I do like that this has quick time events in the turn-based combat, which makes it a lot more interactive for me and a lot more fun.
So a real, were you more of a Legend of Dragoon fan back in the day if you liked the quick time events in Expedition 33?
No, I've never played Legend of Dragoon, so probably not. I'm really more of an action adventure kind of guy for games like Devil May Cry, Assassin's Creed, Legend of Zelda has always been my favorite game series.
I like the Zelda.
Link to the Past is my favorite video game of all time. But
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I definitely like more like spirited adventure games. And usually games that pique my interest are games where you as the player character are the baddest thing in existence in the game. Because in games where everybody has a level playing field, I just don't feel like that embodies who I am as a person. So
We are number 1.
yeah. But anyway, so let's move along to some news. You guys want to do some news?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Danny, fire those bullet points at me. Welcome to the Bullet Points, where we are going to talk about some of, but certainly not all of the news coming out of television, comics, video games, anime, and movies. I will kick us off talking about comic books. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not, but ever since the Krakoa age of X-Men comics, they have slowly been moving towards Beast becoming less morally good and more morally bad. And so the finale of the X-Men Age of Revelation comic, which came out December 31st, so we are a little behind the ball, but as I said, we ourselves are a bit behind. Beast was unveiled to be the big bad of that story arc, and he has a new name. He is no longer Beast. He is the chairman, and he is the leader of a mutant terrorist cell, similar to what the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants was back in the day for the X-Men. And Beast is now firmly he is not a good guy. That's interesting for a sometimes Avenger, sometimes Fantastic Four member,
right.
A character that has a history of just kind of being like curious and pushing the bounds of ethics, but at the end of the day being a good character. And they have had him on this track, I think, ever since like the Age of Apocalypse, when they introduced Dark Beast, to where the mainline Beast actually has become a villain.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Like my knowledge of X-Men Element is very spotty. I just know a couple of the highlights here and there, but I never really thought of Beast as like, of all the characters to be among the X-Men roster to turn to an antagonistic role, I wouldn't have thought Beast to be among the first choices.
It really depends on where you know Beast from. Now, if you know him from the X-Men 96 and ostensibly X-Men 97 cartoon series, you know him as Mama McCoy's blue-eyed baby boy, and he's just very sweet and quippy, but at the end of the day, he's a good guy.
Right.
If you know him from comics, Beast is, the reason that he is Beast is because he decided to start doing genetic experimentation on himself, which turned him into his progressed his mutation to become the Beast that we know and love. But he's always been kind of like he's always been more, and I already said this, but he's always been more curious than cautious, and he's always been more than willing to sacrifice other people in the pursuit of scientific discovery. But it's always been kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, like, you know, Beast, that could have killed me, and he's like, but it didn't. And now it's more like, yep. But I learned something. Now there is a redeeming thing here in that they have created a clone of Beast that predates this turn to evil. So the good Beast is still around in the X-Men universe. It's just not our main Hank McCoy Beast. And then also the Dark Beast from the Age of Apocalypse line also survived Age of Apocalypse and has been in the main MCU 616 for a long time as well. So there are actually three beasts running around the 616.
So they're doing that thing where they want to shake up the status quo, but also don't want to shake up the status quo at all, and want to have their cake and eat it too. We don't want to scare away the people that like things how they are, but we also want to bring in new people that might like this new direction that we're going here.
Right. It reminds me of the clone, the Spider-Man the clone saga. There was a period in the comics where they had determined that Ben Reilly was actually the original Peter Parker and the current Peter Parker was the clone. Mm-hmm. And that was canon for all of like 30 seconds in the Marvel universe. And then everybody was like, that's really fucking stupid. Wouldn't you just be like, well, that's Peter Parker? And then Peter would be like, yeah, I'm Peter Parker. I'm not Ben Reilly. But instead they were like, well, this is Ben Reilly, and he's always been Peter Parker. So he's Ben Reilly now, and he's Spider-Man. And then the mainline Peter Parker started having all these complications from the fact that he was a clone. And then whenever they decided to fix that, it turns out he was just sick. And Ben Reilly is the one that actually had the cloning issues. And so his stuff got worse later. And that's what it feels like to me. I feel like this is a thing where, like, we're going to get the chairman. He's going to be really, really bad. And then somewhere down the line, somebody's going to go, actually, that was the clone Beast.
Right.
And it went bad because he's a clone. The real Beast has always been this guy that thought he was a clone. I could see that being the case.
They did that with Superman arc too once, did they? They had the good and the bad. And
the Death and Return of Superman?
Right.
Yeah, but the thing with the Death and Return of Superman is that none of the Supermen were Superman. Superboy was a clone of Superman and Lex Luthor. John Henry Irons was a construction worker that was basically Iron Man. He was a bleeding edge technology designer and physicist. He basically was DC's Iron Man. He was Tony Stark, who was on the lam from some gangs that were coming after him. And so he hid his name and worked on a construction site, and Superman saved him one day. And out of thanks for Superman saving him, that one day when Superman died, he created a mechanical suit that looked like Superman and called himself Steel. Yeah. And then there was the Superman that wore the glasses. You guys familiar with it? He had yellow glasses and he had energy beams that shot out of his hand. Mm-hmm. That turned out to be a Kryptonian technology called the Eradicator, who was originally a Superman villain that was supposed to wipe out all of the life on Earth and repopulate it with Kryptonians. And so he had the Kryptonian physiology to be a Superman, but he was obviously not human or didn't have any like actual. It was technology, so he had no like emotions or anything, and so he bent bad. And then there's the cyborg Superman, which everybody believed to be the real Superman and couldn't figure out what might have happened, but it turned out he was actually just the villain cyborg, and he had just made himself kind of look like Superman.
Okay.
Billy Rhodes in the chat. Our first Billy Rhodes comment of the year. Let me find it out. He said there's a chairman joke about carving Cha onto the moon before being stopped somewhere in here. Yeah, from the Tick. Yes, chairman. And also the great line by the Tick. You can't blow up. No. Yes. You can't blow up the Earth. That's where I keep my stuff. Yes. But anyway,
The great
so
ones.
that's where I'm at with comics. Then bit of exciting news for anime heads. This one's big for me at least. Frieren, Beyond Journey's End season 2 premieres in 2 days on Crunchyroll on the 16th. So that's Friday. The first episodes of Frieren Beyond Journey's End season 2 will begin dropping on Crunchyroll. I believe they will initially drop with sub and then dub following probably a week or so later, unless they're simulcasting them, which would be just fucking awesome because I love
great.
the American voice cast for Frieren.
I have had quite a number of people on this show, in fact, that have tried to tell me to get into Frieren, get into Frieren, get into Frieren.
Yes.
Maybe I'll try to binge it all over the 3-day weekend we're all about to get.
Yeah, for MLK Day, absolutely.
Yeah.
I may. But yeah, moving on from anime, we'll go to television news, and this one pisses me off so bad, and it's more of like a I wished it had happened than I actually believed it was going to happen, and it's just more proof that we are truly living in the worst timeline. But for those of you who maybe had abandoned Stranger Things somewhere around season 3. I watched the end of Stranger Things season 5.
Why you gotta pick me out?
And I didn't feel like it was great. I didn't love it. It felt like there was a lot of unfinished plot points and storylines that were not touched. And I felt kind of underwhelmed about it. And then there was this huge social media movement where everybody was talking about Conformity Gate. And it turned into this whole thing where people had combed through that final episode and found all these like things that were intentionally left out and only made sense if they were on purpose, and that there had to be something more. There had to be another episode coming. There were all these hints towards January 7th being the day that the special episode was going to drop. I was full send on it. I was like, fuck yeah, it's going to happen. This is awesome. It all makes too much sense. There's too much here. There's too many things that seem intentionally built up for something else to drop. And then guess what happened? Nothing.
Yep.
Nothing happened. But I had a tiny little glimmer of hope. A itty bitty tiny little glimmer of hope that they were going to lean upon Nightmare on Elm Street 7 and do the same thing that they did with New Nightmare, where they were going to take this documentary about Stranger Things and make this meta ending where it would turn out that the documentary was fake, and then they would go back into the world and finish up Stranger Things and tie up all these loose ends that they never got around to. Well, guess what? That documentary dropped at 2:00 in the morning on last Monday. Also, just a fucking documentary. So that was fucking great. So none of that happened. It was the possibility that they were going to pull off this incredible fucking thing that would have changed television and changed everyone's like way they looked at Stranger Things, including me, because I'd mostly written it off and was only watching it because I started it, with season 1. But it was like, man, this would be really, really fucking cool. I hope that they fucking did this. They didn't. And so there was some tiny little childlike version, innocent, beautiful, loving version of me that was so excited about this that died on this hill. And I'm going to miss him because I feel like a piece of my innocence died at the end of this Conformity Gate thing.
You were heavy at it.
I watched a decent chunk of that in real time, just watching the internet implode on itself, believing something that they had put time into watching had ended so terribly that they could not handle it. So many people were making references to what was it? The end of Sherlock. The final season of Sherlock was also so terrible that people were convinced that it was done on purpose and there was going to be a rug pull at the very end that was going to save it all. And then, of course, nothing happened because sometimes people build and build and build on a thing and don't know how to fucking end it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. And I can internalize that. I have been underwhelmed by endings of many, many things, and Sherlock being one of them. Now, I will say that as they were doing the final episodes of Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch said, and I think Stephen Moffat. They were like talking about it, and they were like, the original stories, Sherlock was like in his 60s. Like we could wait forever and come back and do more episodes of this. Like there's no rush on it. And they were like, so we
Don't get me
might
wrong.
decide
I'm sure
to come back
eventually
and do
BBC
more.
will try to milk this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no tie on that.
So I've never been sitting around waiting for a hidden 4th episode of the final season of Sherlock to pop up like I was for the end of Stranger Things. And it's just one of those things that like I was feeling so optimistic, like things have been so not optimistic lately. And I was feeling so optimistic that like, yeah, something good's going to fucking happen this year. And nope, turns out we're in the same fucking shitty spiraling cesspool we've been in for the last couple of years. So
you placed your hopes in a Netflix show.
I know, you're right. You're right.
I'm sorry, but you deserve that kick in the dick.
You're right.
That one
Yeah.
you deserved. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be real.
You lived up the internet hype, or you thought
When
the
you
internet hype
when you
was
put
real.
into context that the Duffer Brothers are literally abandoning Stranger Things from Netflix to go to Paramount because Netflix wouldn't put their movies in theaters, and they're like angry. Of course, they're not going to put in fucking extra effort to make like an extra cool ending for the series. They're like, fuck you guys, we're out. So
Peace.
I don't know, but they're working on the spinoff for it, and I wonder if like all of the like hanging threads that they have, even if they didn't realize they were hanging threads, they can now address them in the spinoff.
Maybe there can be like in the spinoff, or maybe a side series or something. I'm sure there are comics or will be comics if there aren't already. It seems like everything has a side comic at this point. So I'm sure something more will get made to touch on one of these loose threads or something.
Yeah, eventually. Just by then, the groundswell is going to be gone. Like this feeling of excitement is,
Your joy.
yeah. Yes, I love that you're laughing at my broken heart, and I love seeing you happy that I'm unhappy. That's great.
That's not what that is.
You know what? Landon has that you don't.
What's that?
He's not in range.
Oh, you.
But anyway.
Laugh at two people's pain.
Billy Rhodes said, just watch Welcome to Derry instead. It's like the same thing. I could see that. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I could see. I mean, the original Stranger Things story definitely pulled very heavily on it for its, biggest like shock value and the scarier parts of it. So I could see that. Moving on from TV news, Landon, what do you have in gaming?
All right, so this is not a new story. This is a very old story as far as the news cycle is concerned. This was from September of last year, but
Got it.
That's attached. Wow.
Show you.
but it is still
Hold on. We need to this Billy quote. Vecna is the Pennywise we have at home. Anyway, go on, Landon. I'm sorry.
this is still just like the biggest gaming story I can think of in the past a long while. And I want to know if y'all have heard about this. Jared Kushner's firm, the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, and Silver Lake Partners have all gone in and they bought EA and made it private.
I did
I
hear
heard rumors.
something about that. I didn't follow up on it because who has the time? But
Yeah.
So yes, that did happen though.
Right.
Yes, they are now joint owners of Electronic Arts. From what I didn't do much follow-up research after this, but I don't think anything. We have seen the changes from this, from them acquiring this as of yet. If we have, it has not popped up on my radar. But yeah, one of the biggest gaming publishers is owned by the son-in-law of Donald Trump and the Saudi royal family. It's insane.
Yeah. Billy said, this happened a bit ago, so that means no more representation in the next Sims games. Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. No.
But you will have a really nifty ICE agent uniform you can get for your character. And deporting American citizens will probably be a job that you could get. I would assume. But anyway, yeah, so that's bad news. What else you got in gaming?
That's really the main story I wanted to talk about. I didn't get anything else because honestly, this is something I've had in my back pocket since September. This is something I've been wanting to discuss because it just feels so massive. Like Saudi Arabia has been trying to position itself as like a cultural international. Let me try this again.
English.
Saudi Arabia has been trying to establish itself as a cultural cornerstone for the international audience for quite some time. There's a reason why Dubai became such a big tourist attraction. And like Dubai chocolate got pushed, even though I've heard everyone who's actually tried it said it's garbage. And like
pay $16 for a candy bar that sucks ass.
It's got grass in it.
And like they had the big comedy event like in 2025 as well, having a whole bunch of different comedians coming in and them trying to broadcast that and send it out everywhere. And like, this just seems like another step in them trying to have more of a say in the international cultural exchange. And Jared Kushner got in on this because he wants to get in on the cultural war in America.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the dangers of this are huge. And it's not just the EA Games purchase, it's all of the stuff going on with the Saudi investment in America that we've seen recently. That's all kind of terrifying. But I will say, if the game company that created and fathered the
that's not that said.
That fathered the microtransaction and really championed that and kind of forced it upon us goes fucking flat on its face. That might be good for us. But I do see this just like I see all of the gaming properties that EA has their hands on now. And there's not a ton of them that I play. I don't buy any of the like 2K games or any of that kind of stuff, but yeah, Sims really probably one of the only ones I get into. If this goes terribly bad for them, that might be good for the rest of us. Now, if that just, they continue steering the ship as it has been going, they continue to produce games people will buy and play, and they just quietly get a foothold in American consumerism and in our economy, that's a whole new problem. That something that we've managed to avoid roughly since probably the early 80s, fighting off this like Saudi attempts to become a power in the United States, and they've opened this gateway for them, which is, it's terrifying. I don't know. I don't want to be on my soapbox and be like, oh my God, the world's ending, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it all comes down to money and who has the money and where the money goes. And, if one of the most powerful countries on the planet can be literally torn down from the inside in a series of 40 years, just slowly one piece at a time, then, there's no empire that is safe. And so it's always possible that any of these countries with all of this money that they are throwing at us can fall on their face at some time eventually, just be torn down from the inside. Because at the end of the day, money is just a concept. And if you change the way you think about it, then money means nothing.
Billy, whenever you said it'll probably go as well as any other Saudi or Trump venture, I hope so.
They really know what they're doing.
Yeah. But that's everything from me.
Fantastic. And then last but not least, in movies, have you been keeping up with the Avengers Doomsday teasers that have been rolling out?
I have not.
So they all got leaked.
Yeah.
And these are heavy air quotes, leaked to the internet about a week prior to them premiering in theaters with like terrible grainy video and stuff. Which I don't think those were leaks at all. Obviously, it's like hype, the hype marketing that they do for things. But they've all made it out a little like a week ahead of their actual unveiling in front of the third Avatar movie, Way of Water or whatever.
Way of Fire.
No, is it? Yeah. Whatever. The Fire Nation episode of Avatar. But anyway, they've unveiled these 4, and from what I understand, these are just like
Way of Water, Way of Fire.
They're not so much teasers as they are like a insight into what the story is doing. And the Russo brothers have said that if you watch them all and pay attention, there's a narrative that runs through all of them. Now, some of the nerd sites that I watch and follow up with have already pointed out that it's children. The big thing is children. And that it seems like Doom is collecting children to do something with in Doom World, on Battle World. Because, at the end of Fantastic Four First Steps, he comes for Franklin. And then in the first Doomsday teaser, Captain America shows up in the timeline where he went back to live with Peggy, and he's holding his baby son. In the second one, Thor says that he's lost his love. We all know from the end of Thor Love and Thunder, Love is his adopted daughter. In the end of the third one, let's see, what was the third one? The first two. Oh, X-Men. The end of the third one, it's got Cyclops down on his knees blasting an optic beam into the sky, screaming with Sentinels behind him. The thought is that is because the Sentinels came and took Nathan Summers, which is the one day eventual Cable. And then in the fourth one, which goes to Wakanda, and it shows a Shuri, the Black Panther, and King M'Baku. And she's talking about how she has lost everyone that she cares about. And if you saw the end of Black Panther 2, you know that there is a T'Challa Jr. That is the secret love child of the first T'Challa that she meets at the end of the movie. And if she's saying that she's lost everyone she loves and cares about, she's probably lost T'Challa Jr. So Doom has probably taken T'Challa Jr. as well. So all of these children have been taken to Battle World, and that's what this whole thing is happening. But at the end of that Wakanda teaser, the Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm specifically, Ben Grimm shows up and introduces himself to the Wakandans, which was kind of cool. We got a little glimpse at the next part of like where the First Steps movie kind of lines up with the main MCU. But I don't know. There's a countdown, and it is going months. Like they started the countdown a year out from the movie releasing. And so with every teaser, they show the countdown with like a clock ticking down, but it's like, like 11 months, so many days, so many minutes, so many hours. And how do you feel about that? Are they hyping it too early? Is a 1 year countdown too long? You think?
Yeah.
I don't know, because if they had, I feel as though if they're wanting to do a 1 year countdown, they think they have enough to drip feed the audience to keep the hype up at least a little bit all the way through to the movie. Now, they could end up blowing their load way too early, release way too much, and then 6 months up until the movie releases, they have nothing, and then gotta panic and then decide, oh shit, maybe there should be some more leaks that are just all entirely fake, or make some shit up just to generate hype or something. I don't know.
I firmly believe that they're going to do what they've been doing for every Marvel movie for the last several years, where they're going to release every relevant story piece for the whole movie over a year-long period. And by the time you get there, you're just going to be like, oh, wow, I got to see that in the theater.
I see it. After they told me about it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I am waiting for that to become such a problem that fans end up just stitching every single scene that was in the trailers together to make something that's like the movie minus 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. That's all they do now. They
They
give you all the
released-
good shit in the previews, and then you go watch the movie. You're like, oh, it's all the good stuff.
And that's usually a sign the movie's not going to be great. But
Well,
they like dropped the runtime for Avengers Doomsday, and it's going to be the longest Marvel film to date.
fuck me.
That's the reaction we're not looking for.
And then I believe Secret Wars is supposed to be just a little longer than that. So like the Russo's next 2 Marvel films are going to clock in somewhere around 8 hours collectively, which means that they're 4 major Marvel films together. You know, well, if you count
do the Lord of the Rings.
if you count Winter Soldier, 5. Which Winter Soldier was peak. Like that's the best of all the Marvel movies.
I never watched it.
What?
I never watched
What? In range,
Don't
Joey.
hit me again.
But anyway,
I'll rip your other titty up.
yeah. So these things are to clock in like 16 hours for the 4 movies together. And they're boasting that this Doomsday is going to have the biggest cast they've ever had, and that Secret Wars is going to have an even bigger cast. And they're going for like
a lot of names.
yeah, and it's not that I don't believe in their ability to pull it off, but also look at the end of Endgame and look at how much they fucking tanked what the MCU could do post Endgame by fucking ending the stories of so many major players in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then for the next like 5 years, all of the Marvel stuff has been like, well, we have stories, but we don't have the actors for them. So here's another actor.
Here, let me add this.
How can we get this much story out of, like, it always feels like these are getting way too stretched thin, plots and characters that don't get fully realized. Like for fucking Thunderbolts, like didn't Taskmaster have like less than like 3 lines in the whole goddamn movie?
Yes. Not
like-
a single line. I don't yeah, no, I think you're right. Taskmaster said like 3 things. Yeah.
And it's like they boast that everybody's here and it's just somebody popping in for 2 minutes and then piecing out, and still somehow doing that. They still have long as fuck run times.
Yeah.
It's like
15 characters just walk by the
Bi-
camera. and
Billy
throw pieces
talking
out and
to-
keep walking.
Billy talking about the runtime said Granada lasted less than that, and that was real. Story Love up here, I want to highlight this, that it's nice to have this breakdown. I was totally lost in those trailers. No Gimmicks Podcast. Mac is in the chat. Yo, what is up? Glad you're here.
What up?
Let's see. Story Love said, do we think all these Doomsday tie-ins are going to... I should read this on the
Let me
big
read
part.
this. Do we think all these Doomsday
Push more
tie-ins-
casual fans away from being too hard to keep track of, or will it do the opposite? I think that it's going to do the opposite. I think that at this point there really are no casual Marvel fans anymore. With the idea of superhero fatigue, it became so popular to shit on Marvel comic movies that anyone that's still sticking around to watch these is actually inevitably a real fan of these things. So there aren't a lot of your casuals jumping around getting excited about these films. I think we're down to just people that actually like nerd shit at this point.
Real fans or sunk cost fallacy. 16 goddamn hours of movie, and that's just naming like 4 of them. And like I
Look
don't want to
behind
be
me. Gaze upon my collection. It's not sunk cost fallacy for me.
I don't want to be like I don't want to be a dick and shit on Marvel movies. That's not what I'm trying to be. But like, goddamn, they have tried to pivot and restore what they could after the Jonathan Majors debacle, and like it feels like a scramble. And we do get a couple of good movies out of this. We do get some good movies, but like a lot of it's just God, it kind of feels like the contentization. You know what I mean? Like just putting out stuff just to put stuff out sometimes.
So I'll agree with you with the caveat that being a comic book fan, that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah.
You get a lot of really shitty runs of superhero comics
You get the
till
crap
you
comics.
get a decent
And you
fucking
can do
writer
it.
who shows up with a decent artist and gives you something worth fucking reading.
Right.
You know how many X-Men comics I've got that weren't good, but they're still in my collection because they led to something that eventually was good? You know, a different creative team or different editorial team or whatever. That's what the MCU is experiencing. The difference is their movies cost billions of dollars.
And they
Mhm.
make billions of dollars.
So when you're talking about a comic book, you're talking about failure in the thousands. When you're talking about a Marvel movie, you're talking about failure in the billions.
Right.
That's arguably, you know, a little more noticeable, a little bigger. People get a little more upset about it. But for comic book fans, like you and I and Joey, like we've eaten a lot of shit to get to some good fucking arcs. You know, like Chris Claremont gave us some decent X-Men stories, and then Grant Morrison gave us some really shitty X-Men stories for a long
Right.
time. And you got to take, you know, as a fan, sometimes you got to read that shitty stuff so that whenever the good stuff comes, you're like, fuck yes, finally.
Sometimes you got to eat the shit sandwich to get to the cake at the end, you know?
And that's what I'm feeling with like the Marvel movies. It's like, yeah, one of the foundational beautiful things about comics is that whenever you get tired of your old comic book character, they kill them off, take them away, change their name, give somebody else their powers, put somebody else in the seat. And whenever they feel like the time has passed and it's been long enough, then they put them back in the suit. Like Steve Rogers has set down the Captain America mantle so many times and picked it back up to just be mildly more relevant than he was when he wasn't the Captain America for a minute, you know, because nobody gave a shit about Captain America before Chris Evans put the costume on. But that's really hard to do with an aging cast. You can't just turn around and be like, hey, you guys are young and Captain America again, and Chris Evans is in his 70s, and be like, I can't do it anymore. I just don't have it in me. You know, not everybody's Hugh Jackman. I think the big thing that we're going to get at the end of Secret Wars is a recasting of some younger people playing the Keystone Marvel characters. And I think we'll probably get about 10 years of just shitty middle of the road versions of the second generation, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark and all of that. And then maybe on the third generation, it'll be more like James Bond. And then the discussion will be like, who was the best Iron Man? Who was the best Captain America? Instead of just being like, I really liked Robert Downey Jr. and this new guy sucks.
Right.
Well, maybe.
I don't want to leave this alone. Again, talking about the runtime of this movie, Billy said, we kidnapped a president in less time than that. And then commenting on how the stories just keep rolling, or how they kind of killed the MCU by the ending of Endgame. Billy said, yeah, but they didn't end. They keep fucking coming back. Yes.
They never go away.
And then being a comic fan is like Dubai chocolate. Mostly it means paying a C-list actress to shit on you. And sometimes it means pistachio flavored chocolate. Oh, God. But anyway, so that is the bullet points. Thank you for joining us for our weekly news section. Anyway, I hope this news didn't just graze you. This has been the bullet. Welcome back to the show. Why are we shitting on? Ask that question again now that you have audio.
Nope. It's just funny.
Anyway. Following that, we are going to do a hit list this week. That is right. This is the return of the hit list. First time for the year. And what is the hit list this week, Landon?
This week's hit list is terrible items, strategies, characters in video games that you love anyway. So if it's like a weapon that's terrible, but you still like it just because it's fun to use, that's what we're looking for.
Okay. So that's the list. That's what we're doing for this week's hit list. get your list together. Here we go. Welcome to the hit list. We were talking about our 5 favorite video game items that are useless, but we love anyway. So Joey doesn't have a list. So he's just going to comment on ours. Landon, kick us off with your number 5.
All right. My number 5 is heavy armor and Souls games. Now, in pretty much every Souls game,
I'm running the show. Hold on.
You're the front seat driver. Come on now.
That's not heavy armor and Souls games. That is the. There we go.
You found it. Nailed it.
So, in pretty much every Dark Souls game except for the first one, heavy armor is not that great. It's better to dodge a hit and not take any damage than to take the hit and just deflect some of it. You know, it's better to keep light on your feet and just keep dodging. However, what that's not good for is role playing.
Anyway.
For role-playing things like knights or paladins or things along those lines. Like, I want to be a walking tank that just takes the hit and can just hit right back.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to be dodging because I don't think that's fun for the character I'm playing. I will put being able to role-play over playing as optimally as possible.
I thought you were going to say Optimus Prime, and I was going to cut you off because I will take playing as Optimus Prime any day. But no, anyway.
Yeah.
That is my number 5.
Yeah, and I could see that it reminds me of the conversation we had whenever they showed the battle armor in the Fallout series. And I've never really played the Fallout game, so I don't have any experience in them. And I was like, it seemed like kind of a waste. They're kind of shitty. Like, why would anybody get into it? And you were like, no, that's their thing. They suck.
Yeah, they kind of suck. They're not always the best. They make you slow as hell. In 4, you need to have like a battery on you at all times, and it drains the battery like crazy. And then you got to stick another one in them, and they cost a fuck ton of money.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have anything in chat? I don't believe we do. And if that's the case, we'll move. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Nightmares at Nerdscapes. CJ said, Bulletstorm, the whole game.
I don't know shit about Bulletstorm.
Cool. CJ, I also have never played Bulletstorm. Is Bulletstorm a mobile game?
I have no idea.
I don't. Or is it? It's like a Contra type game, is it not? You know what? None of us know. So yes, you're absolutely right.
You are 100%.
Story Love said endless boost in Sonic Gemstones. This lets you generations. Sorry, and the light is really bright right over the thing. Endless boost in Sonic Generations. This lets you go super speed with no limit, but you can't pick up rings. So the minute you run into some spikes, it's a moot point.
You can run really fast into your death, but it feels awesome to do it, huh?
Yeah.
Bulletstorm was a first-person shooter.
Billy said, "Whoa, huge slam on Bulletstorm." We know a lot of games. Like, it's okay that we don't know some.
Right.
And then he said, "No, that's Metal Storm."
I might have to look up Bulletstorm. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah. My number 5. I did this list a little wrong because I found some things and I was like, man, I fucking hate these things. And then I was like, I'm just going to make a list of things I hate. And then as I was writing my list out, I looked at Landon and I was like, wait, what was the list? And so my list is just shit from video games I don't like. So My number 5 is this shit. So as I previously established off air, I don't like turn-based games, but I thought, you know what? The fuck? I will give Final Fantasy X a chance. And I was like, let's try this. And then I'm like, okay, the combat's kind of okay. I can live with this. And then I got to play some fucking swimming water-based version of soccer that's like, you have to like get all the fucking timing down perfectly to be good at it. And I'm
It's
not.
called Blitzball, sir.
Blitzball. Exactly. You're right. I was giving it too many compliments by comparing it to soccer. What a stupid mechanic to add to a video game. CJ said it's an FPS. So we'll probably say we're going to check it out, and maybe one of us will. But we're missing out on that Bulletstorm. But anyway, Blitzball fucking sucks. And I know there's some people that have like this like nostalgia for it, but those people are idiots. That game fucking sucks. Don't make me play Blitzball whenever I want to fight giant monsters with my team and their giant swords.
Yes.
All right, Landon, what did you have for number 4?
All right, my number 4 was the image you showed up a little bit ago. It is the Necromancer from Diablo 2. Now, in the reincarnated version or revived version, whatever they call their remaster, apparently he got a balance update to be better. He actually is improved. I haven't played too much of Diablo remaster, just played through the first couple of chapters. But in the original, he was not good. Your skeletons died all the time. You got to hope that your clay golem could actually like hold up and be a wall. He very rarely was ever that. And I think this is just because balancing around a character that can just make more allies whenever he wants to in the middle of a battlefield is hard to do. So they kind of just made him terrible and made it so that you had to spam all of his summons as much as possible to use it. He had a bunch of other spells to help with this, or a bunch of other spells I could use, such as bone spears and stuff like that, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have an army of skeletons to do my bidding. That is why I'm here. That is my role on this plane, to eventually have my undead army.
Yeah.
And until that happens, I got in this video game, and I will see to it that I brute force my way through things.
Make it work for you. That's what video games are all about, is shoehorning the character to do things you want it to do instead of what it's built
Make
to
it
do.
your way, right?
Moving on from that, Billy had his number 5. He said the ball. World of Warcraft. It's just a ball that you throw from your inventory to the target's inventory.
That sounds
yeah,
fun.
you play catch.
CJ, his number 4, main story quest in Elder Scrolls games. He hates the main story quest. He only wants the side mission. And as a person with very extreme ADHD, side quests are also my favorite part.
I could see that. I will say in at least like Oblivion and Morrowind, the main story quest is kind of interesting because in Morrowind, like you have fucking essentially zombies running around, spreading their disease and everything. So the world feels like it's fucking ending. But that's also just what Morrowind looks like. And in Oblivion, like the fucking Emperor dies right in front of you in like the first 5 minutes. Like that's gonna catch your attention. But Skyrim definitely, despite the fact that a dragon saves you and then you're out of there, for some reason it just did not catch my attention, the main story quests. So I could see it definitely with Skyrim.
What I know from Skyrim is that I can nope to the wrong fucking direction and end up in some town and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And that has been my experience every single time I have tried to play Skyrim. I'm like, where the fuck am I? This guy was like, go east towards something. I thought I was going east. Where the fuck is he?
I will say it's that's most people's experience, Danny. You are not in the minority on that.
I feel like I need to find a really good YouTube like how-to video and just sit and play alongside it so that I can finally enjoy Skyrim like most people do. Because every time I'm like 2 hours into the game and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I'm so lost. And then I believe this was a comment about the necromancer. CJ said he was a druid, but all his animal companions had osteoporosis.
Pretty accurate.
Story loves number 4, endless scarf / white robe in Journey. Feels so good to float around with no limit, but by the time you get it, you've already 100% of the game. Journey is a blast and a joy to play. I really love that game. I've never gotten the endless scarf / white robe in it though.
Yeah. Those all those games that have like, oh yeah, once you beat the game, you have you get like max stats or whatever just to fuck around with. That's always fun, but it's always dang. Wish I had
game's
some.
over now.
Yeah, game's over now. Fun to mess around with. I don't think I would want this while the game's going on in the first place because that takes away the fun. But nice to have now.
Yeah, I like a game that, like, at the end you feel like you've accomplished something, even though you've just been sitting in your living room for like 16 hours straight. So yeah, I don't the endless whatever where like you can't get hurt and you can just stay airborne the whole time. Like, it's cool to have accomplished it, and it's definitely like a prestige thing. Like, look what I got.
Right, I've got this
on this game. I'm probably not going to play now. Billy also. And he's coming right at me on this one, but he said, "There's a map marker, dude."
Told you, learn to read a map.
Billy, come visit, sit next to me while I start Skyrim, and show me what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing, because I own this game in 3 formats. I have it on my Switch. I have it
read
for
a map to save his life.
I have it for PSVR, and then I have it on my PS5, and I have accomplished nothing in either of the formats, any of the formats that I have it. And then he said, it's not like you're playing Morrowind. Oh, fucking take that, Morrowind. Fucking loser. And then Billy's number 4. Unbreakable lockpick perk. Skyrim / Fallout 4. Lockpicks are cheap and plentiful, but also nice to not clutter up your inventory with tons of them.
Yeah. Now every time I play those games, I have just a ton of lockpicks. It's hard not to get a ton of lockpicks in those games sometimes, but like also,
kind of unnecessary.
Kind of unnecessary, like you said, because I mean, if you go through lockpicks like crazy in that game, in any of those games, it means that you are playing the lockpicking game with your eyes closed. You are not listening to any sound cues.
You're not watching the clicks. You're not.
You are not even touching your controller. Aside from with like 2 sticks from far away with your screen turned off.
You're trying to speed run Fallout 4, and you're bad at speed runs and Fallout 4. You're like, oh, I gotta get this lock. Fuck. Fuck. Yeah, fuck. Timer's just going up. All of your Twitch streamers are fucking roasting you.
Right.
Could you imagine?
Oh god,
Couldn't
if
be
I had
me.
an audience every time I played video games, I'd piss off so many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what would be the most aggravating for anyone else watching me play is I search everything when I play a game. Like I walk, like, there's like that that maze like hack to getting out of any maze is like keep your left hand on the wall and you'll eventually walk into the exit. Like that's how I play video games. I'm just like I start, I look left, and I work my way around whatever the natural landscape is and I like fight a boss or whatever, and there's this huge, like, especially with like FromSoft games or Expedition 33 is another one, but like you have these massive, huge areas that you fight a boss in, and the boss is the whole area. Like there's nothing else there. I get done, I'm like, well, I got to search every little corner and crevice of this. No matter how many times I do it, no matter how many times there's nothing there, when I look, I will do it after every fight.
Oh, what's over this hill?
Hey, Danny?
What's in this pocket?
I think I see how you end up in some random fucking town in Skyrim.
Yeah.
He's right. He's right. God damn, he's right. I'm not built for Skyrim. It's just not my thing. Maybe if I get the Game of the Year edition.
Which one?
The good one.
All of it.
Story Love said, I pissed myself off playing video games. Yeah. You know, I don't have, like, because I'm autistic, I don't catch things in context sometimes. And, like, I was, again, playing Expedition 33, and there's a very, very clear mechanic that lights itself up and shows you how to use it if you're just paying attention. And I've lost to this boss like 15 times in a row. And last night I was like, I'm just gonna fucking look it up. I looked it up and it's like, shoot his lanterns in the order they light up. As they flash red every time one lights up, shoot them in that same order. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It's that easy. I just had to play fucking Simon on this guy's lanterns. He's literally built to be like, oh, look at this fun remedial fucking mechanic we put in here for this super easy boss. And I'm just losing over and over again, screaming at my television.
Fucking day.
Katrina's like looking at me like, what are you doing? I was like, fuck this guy. Fuck this boss. Fuck. Yeah, no, it turns out I'm the problem.
Right.
Who could have guessed? Who could have guessed that? Not me.
Anybody who
Anyway.
knows you.
Let's see. Shit. We're on my number 4, aren't we? My number 4 is the Giant's Knife from Ocarina of Time. Now it's funny, I mentioned this, and before I could even explain what it was, Joey was like, isn't that fucking knife where you swing it like 3 times and it fucking breaks? And I was like, yeah, that piece of shit.
That goddamn thing.
200 fucking rupees later, you're like, oh wow, what a cool sword.
Waste of fucking money and time.
Yeah. And then like the upgraded version of it is something you have to do an insane, tedious task in order to get it in the first place. So most people don't get it.
Right.
Well, what's crazy is that even after you get the Boron sword, you're still kind of just going to use the Master Sword the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a couple of times where it's like, this was really handy to have. And the rest of the time, this giant fucking sword that you've got to swing around is not the sword you want.
Yep.
It's still going to be the Master Sword. So, yeah. But anyway, if I get a new sword, I don't care. Like, new sword, great. I don't care if I have it or if it does anything. If I've just got a really cool sword in my inventory, I've got a really cool sword in my inventory. That's a win-win for me.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Fair
Landon,
enough.
what did you have for number 3? Let me find the goddamn cursor. There we go.
My number 3 is the 32 caliber pistol from Fallout 3. Now, this is the worst gun in the game. Some people might say the Chinese pistol is the worst one, but at least it's in 10 millimeter, which is a lot easier to find than 32 caliber ammo. This gun has abysmal damage. Does not last that long durability-wise, but it is also one of only 2 revolvers you can find in that whole game. And I love revolvers in games. I really do. Red Dead Redemption, that's my shit, because it's filled with revolvers. Yeah, I can English, I swear. But like,
You speak good word.
Right.
I speak good word. But like in Fallout 3, if I want a revolver, I have either that or the hunting revolver, which is scoped. And I'm not a fan of scoped revolvers, so that is my only option. And
Yeah, you
I
ain't no
will be
bitch.
using it until the game forces me not to.
Yeah, there's a tendency by me and probably by a lot of gamers, but where I get like a certain comfort level with a weapon, and then you get a much better weapon, but it's got a new mechanic you've got to learn. And I'm just like, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to finish the game with the fucking weapon I learned with to begin with.
Right.
Like Devil May Cry, a lot of times in the, like, specifically like 3, you start out with the Force Eagle, and then as you work your way through the game, you get better swords and better weapons and stuff. I'm finishing the game with that. I don't care if I get super cool demon nunchucks or anything else. I want the sword I start with and the guns, ebony and ivory, all the gun you ever need. And that's how I'm finishing the game.
Yeah, but you see, the 32 caliber pistol isn't even the gun you start the game with. The gun you start the game with is better than the 32 caliber pistol,
And you still chose it.
and I still
Jesus,
choose it.
You're doing more
Nice.
steps.
Mhm.
God.
I'm somebody who likes to challenge run video games. I like to give myself specific restraints, and I like to try to beat the game with those restraints.
So,
So,
you're like,
I'll-
what if I put some more rules into this game that aren't in it for myself?
Exactly.
And you're like, that's my idea of a good time.
Myself.
Yeah. And then whenever I play the game without those rules, I'm like, oh, this is so much easier. But also, I want to challenge myself.
Yeah. So you're like, I'm really horny, but I can't masturbate unless there's a cactus in the room.
Exactly.
Like
You
that's
got
kind
it
of
down
like that's kind of what works for you.
Mm.
There's got to be a cactus, and it's got to be on a 45-degree angle. I can't. Anyway.
Exactly.
CJ said, "Scope revolvers are like breathable condoms, worthless."
Nice.
I don't know. I've went out hunting a couple of times with people who used hunting revolvers, and they always have scopes on them, and they seem to have a perfectly fine time with them.
How long are the barrel on those things?
Mm.
Oh wow, you could take this out of context and it'd be the funniest image.
Well,
It kind of looked like we were talking about the same thing.
oh,
Anyway, Story Loves number 3 is Toy Knife in Undertale. Unless in a pacifist run, but I'm still picking it up.
Yeah.
That's a game that I need to play. I have it. Never played it. I guess you could say that scoped revolvers are kind of the spiritual successor of Undertale. Bring it back.
bring it back. Over again.
I will say, if you like the fact that that Expedition 33 has quick time events for its turn-based combat,
Yeah.
you might like that Undertale has like a mini-game dodge event for every time the monsters attack.
Okay. Do you not like the quick time events in Expedition 33? Like, is that a turnoff for you?
Oh no, I loved having quick time events for Legend of Dragoon.
Okay.
I just haven't picked up Expedition 33 because it just hasn't popped up for me. Like I've been meaning to get it. It's low on the list right now, and with everybody singing its praises, it's just not something I want to get to immediately.
Yep, I understand. Wait till it cools off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can be like, hey, guess what I retro picked up the other day? And then everybody be like, oh my God, you're the first person I've ever talked to that retro played this game. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty cutting edge.
I swear to God, if I live long enough to see people call Expedition 33 retro,
You will.
I know.
What was it? Yeah, this CJ's number 3 actually plays into that. Remasters within 10 years of the original release.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And also, like, whenever they put out a remaster and then shortly thereafter put out another remaster, like right behind it, and you're like, what the? How many fucking versions of this game do we need?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Looking at you, The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Shots
Hard.
fired.
Let's see. Billy's number 3 is the main quest for Far Cry 4. This one is actually useless because if you just wait for like 20 minutes, the guy comes back and you both put your mom's urn on the shrine and the game ends.
Yep.
So I don't know how that game goes, but that doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to do.
Well, he leaves you with some delicious crab rangoon.
I hate everything about this right now.
Okay.
I don't even know what the fuck we're doing. And I know you're being fucking honest. That's the worst part. The crab rangoon is definitely a thing that happens, right?
Yes.
God
He leaves
damn
you
it.
there. He invites you into his home, He's just like, yeah, sure, we'll put your mom's ashes on the shrine. Just to have dinner with me first. Oh, hold on, I have to go take care of some things, and then he leaves. And if you wait for 20 minutes, he comes right back. That is it.
Worst timeline.
What the fuck just happened?
Billy also said, "Hey, there's nothing wrong with a hunting derringer."
I too enjoy taking my Saturday night special to go hunting rabbits.
And Billy said, "Or maybe you won't. Who knows? It's the wonder of life. 'Tis the wonder of life." And then just to drive the nail home, he said, "It is a thing that happens." Excellent. That is so fucking great. Just what even is our humor now? Like what are we doing as a society? You know? Like I feel like there was a point there where we hit the spot we should have, like in what was like humor. And then I don't know what the fuck we did after that. Like I was telling Katrina, like there was a period in like sitcoms where the whole fucking punchline of an episode was like, that guy's actually gay. Now that's bad. That was not the time that humor was good. But somewhere in the last 30-ish years, like after that, like where it's like, oh, the main character doesn't know this guy's gay. Like that was bad. But somewhere like 15, 20 years after that, I think we really got to where humor was good. Like we were there. And now I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I don't. And I'm part of it. Like, but honestly, like just looking at it, like zooming out, looking at what the fuck we find funny now, it's like everything's an in-joke. And it's not even a full reference. Like the fucking Crab Ragoon thing isn't a full reference to anything. But you know what it makes me think of? Regular Show and other shows of that, you know, and other jokes that are in that like irreverent, like this could be funny if there was more setup, but we don't need the setup. We just have the punchline, and that's great.
I mean, that wasn't even supposed to be like that. I'm going to be honest, Danny. That was just supposed to be a throwaway line that anybody who played Far Cry 4 or knows about the ending can just look at and be like, this guy gets it. And then I was just going to be like, moving on. But no, you're the one that had to stop and figure this out and be like, what the fuck are you on?
You just proved my point. It's a fucking in-joke, right?
Yeah, but like the point of the in-joke like that is that it's supposed to be, okay, it's here, and now we're moving on. Because like we can't just have a joke and move on. We have to stop and be like, joke, you get the joke. Like, we can't just have like a little quip.
Who's we? Are we talking about me?
Okay, look, the autism in the room.
Am I the problem
high.
here?
The autism in the room is high, okay?
Anyway, I do love pedantry, though. Billy said, it's arguably the best way to end the game. There's no fighting, no killing. Everyone gets along. Yep, that's yeah. And then CJ said, but he was so gay, LMAO. Okay, anyway, let's see. That was number 3's. Mine might be a little controversial. Maybe not. I don't know. It's going to be a weird one. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. The entire fucking build system. I hate this. I loved Breath of the Wild. I do not want to do Minecraft, but not as good. Like I'm not. It was just this. Some guy built a fucking sky platform on the game. It's like, hey, look at my super cool Tears of the Kingdom sky platform. It was so boring. Like at first, I was like, I could see where this might be kind of fun, and then it was like, you got to jump through all these goddamn hoops to get these things that get. Somebody save me.
Sorry.
But anyway,
I was just trying to figure out what that was. Now I remember.
But anyway, the Tears of the Kingdom, I would have just straight up played a game that just made the world bigger from Breath of the Wild. I would have played that for another like 16 hours of my life and 32 hours, 80 hours, whatever I put into the original. But when Tears of the Kingdom came along and it was like, hey, you got to build a bunch of shit, but it's gonna be super clunky and it's gonna be a pain in the ass to get everything together. I was like, I don't want to play this. And I love Legend of Zelda, but I was like, no, this mechanic doesn't do it for me. And I watched a lot of videos where people just like create sky bikes and shit, and they're like, well, all you got to do is like build this little platform, and then you put it on it, and then let it fall, and it'll be a 45-degree angle, and then you attach this thing, and then you need another platform, and then it'll fly straight. And I'm like, couldn't they just fucking put the sky bikes in the game? Couldn't I just like rent one
Just
somewhere?
buy one.
Yeah. It's
Yep,
cool that
I
you can
want
make
that.
your own, but can I also just fucking get one? Would that be possible?
I mean, it's kind of what happens with pretty much any gimmick that they add to any game, you know? Like, some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, and it makes sense that you're one of the people that hate it, Danny.
It's crazy. My best friend, Scott, I was telling him, that, like, we were talking about it, and he's like, did you play Tears of the Kingdom? And I was like, yeah, I played it for a little bit. I really hated the build system. He's like, I fucking love the build system. And I was like,
Complete opposites.
not typically. Usually we vibe on stuff, but I was just like, no. And he was like, yes. So anyway, some motherfucking Catalina wine mixer. What can I say? Billy said it's similar to the phenomenon of asking Chad a question out loud when you're standing in a room alone. Oh yeah, my kids do that. Anyway, that was my number 3. Landon, what do you have for number 2?
All right, my number 2, it is the Fire Bat from StarCraft 2.
Nailed it.
Yeah. This thing is terrible in game. It is a close range fighter in an entire faction that is about long range distance attacking. It has an AoE fire attack that does pretty good to light units, but like so can regular attacks. They're light units. They're designed to be kind of cheap and die easily. So like it kind of exists to fill a niche that's solved by everything else. And then on top of that, like, mechanically, like if they are targeting a unit to attack and they have a bit of a wind up to their attack, but if they're targeting a unit and that unit dies, they have to retarget something else, redo their entire wind up, even though it's literally just pointing their flamethrower at that unit. And so you kind of end up having fights where everything is dying around them super quickly because that's the nature of the game. And they're doing nothing because they have to keep retargeting, redoing their windup, and get nothing done. But I love them because they are these big, tanky flamethrower guys that just, in the first game, were really good and now just aren't that great. But aesthetically, they are very pleasing. And when they do get a kill, it's fun to see.
Yeah. I mean, they look fucking chunky. It's like the Hulkbuster armor.
Right.
Like, I would expect this to be awesome. Like, just you're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in a giant fucking armored suit. But
its counterpart, the Marauder, that has a very similar looking suit except blue, well, dark blue, is awesome. It's one of the best units in the Terran faction. It's great.
yeah, I've not played StarCraft. I probably should have. You think now would be a good time to start playing it retro as a retro gamer? Just like get in there ahead of everybody else.
I will say they did make the first campaign free, so you can try
check
out
it
the
out.
first
I don't know
campaign.
why I thought of Star Fox when he started talking about it. I'm
Star,
like,
oh yeah, yeah.
do a
there's-
barrel roll.
Yeah, do a barrel roll.
My bad.
But yeah, it's. I mean, if it's free, I'll probably think about checking it out sometime.
All right.
Add it to your list.
Story Love's number 2 is in here somewhere. I should have started. Man, I miss Randy. Story Love's number 2. Anything I equip for cosmetics. My partner will fix my stuff and make me super powerful, but it doesn't look pretty.
I do love that a lot of games now include like a glamour mechanic where it is just you have what you actually have equipped, but you can just throw whatever outfit you want on over it and not change the stats at all. That's always very nice.
I was playing something recently where that was the case. What was that?
Yeah. They
I
added
can't
to
remember.
Cyberpunk 2077 with one of the
Yeah, I saw that
updates.
on there, which I have now. I'm not very far into it, but I have a game started on that. I haven't put a ton of time into it. God, I can't remember what it was. Oh, it might have been Diablo. I think I was playing Diablo 4. Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, didn't know Diablo showed its different equipment like that.
It does. Yeah, you have the option to have something else equip, but have it look like what you want it to look like.
All right.
I believe. Or I'm thinking of an entirely different game. You know, who knows? Who has time? I'm a grandparent now. I'm doing grandpa gaming now. Grandpa's retro gaming. That's my new. I'm gonna start a channel, Grandpa Retro Gaming, and people are gonna be so fucking confused. They're gonna be like, "This game's not retro. You're probably not old enough to have grandchildren." I'm be like, "That's where you're wrong, kiddo. Grandpa got kids." Anyway, but yeah, I really do love that. Like, you can take customizable armor and keep the specs, but not have to keep it showing. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It is a nice thing because, you know, back in my day, CJ's number 2, jumping through hoops while building sky platforms. So I think that's a Tears of the Kingdom reference. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe he did like the whole, you have to let this fall and hit the thing at 45 degrees in order to get the proper lift.
Yeah, that. Anyway, yeah, I'm glad you're with me on that. And then Billy's number 2, not killing anyone in Cyberpunk 2077 on the hardest difficulty. Some games give you an achievement for doing that, but not this one. There's absolutely no reason to do it. I still did it though.
Mm-hmm.
Accomplished.
Billy, he doesn't even do stuff on his main channel. Why is he starting a second one?
God damn.
Nice.
Oh, I've never felt so seen in my whole life.
Oh god.
Landon, would you like to see my number 2?
Yes. Show it to me.
A whole pile of steam.
Here's a hot, steamy number 2 for you.
Show it to me.
It's the remote batarang from the Arkham games. You know what's really cool about being Batman is the crazy skill and precision that you feel like you have as soon as you put on that bat suit, and how it embodies how badass Batman is. You know what I don't want to do? Run a goddamn batarang into the side of a fucking air duct 97 times trying to hit a fucking switch. That's what I don't want to do.
Big times.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that the handling is basically like a really bad airplane sim, and you got to learn that, you know, while everything else works in
Hold the
normal,
nose up.
up is up and down is down. Now you're switching to down is up and up is down, which is fine, except it doesn't have to fucking be that way because it's not an airplane.
They just randomly invert the controls on you.
Yeah.
All right,
But anyway, so that was my number 2.
I understand that.
Yeah, have you not played any Arkham games?
I played the first one.
Maybe it wasn't introduced to Arkham City, but there's a mechanic in, I think, starting with Arkham City, where Batman has a remote control batarang, and so they give you these quests where you have to like throw it and then fly it into an air duct and then around inside the air duct until it hits something. So it's like a switch or breaks a laser or something, and the handling fucking sucks, and it takes you completely out of the game because you just like beat the shit out of 8 henchmen in like a total badass way using all of Batman's cool gadgets, and then it's like, oh wait, never mind, here's this stupid fucking thing. But
Here,
yeah.
run this drone through this vent.
I have some feel. You could say I have strong feelings about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Billy says there were entirely too many batarang options in those games. Yeah. So name Landon. Are you ready for the first time in a year of our Lord 2026 to give me your number one? Landon, your number one, please.
First number one of 2026. So, my number one in all of video games, it's gambling. Any situation where there is a chance that something can go awry, where something could go awry, either this works out, either I get that lucky draw and this works out perfectly, or this completely blows up in my face, I love to do. And basically, anytime you watch the type of people who optimize games to the point to where they optimize the fun out of it, what's something that they always do? Reliability. They always try to go for the reliable, good results. Nah, I want to gamble. I want to try all the different things. I want to play Metronome in Pokemon. I want to use the Wabbajack and see if I end up killing this person instantly or turning them into a demon. I want to use the Devil Axe and Fire Emblem, and either this is an incredibly powerful weapon or it backfires and I damage myself instead. I love those mechanics. Sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes it ends up putting me back to square one. And at those times, I want to have that nice, reliable option in my back pocket. But whenever I'm wanting to have a little bit of fun, roll the dice a little.
Yeah.
I always appreciate that the option is there.
In our away time, and I think I actually started this before our away time, I had started Dungeon Crawler Carl, the book series. And there is, I think, the second book or third book. I think it's in the second book. He gets a scratch off lottery ticket, and the lottery ticket is level 15 fireball or pudding. And so if he scratches it when he's fighting a monster, it either drops a level 15 fireball on them or pudding. The pudding is like, it heals them and like makes them stronger, and so he always risks it. There's some very magical moments in that book series, but that's probably one of my favorites. But anyway, yeah, I could see where that'd be fun. CJ said, Wanna Jack sounds like a gigolo with a cleft palate. All right, let's see those number ones in chat. And
You close.
I'm not built to do tech and run the show at the same time. This is not for me.
I do have my original number one, and that's for retro game.
That's fine.
Ever
Let's
got
see.
around to playing Toe Jam and Earl, the goddamn roller skates. You click on roller skates on a map you can fall through to go back down 3 or 4 levels. Why the hell do you have roller skates on a map you can fall through?
Yeah, what he said. CJ said, Cyberpunk not allowing the micro penis or ultra clitoris.
No, for a game that tries to work
loose
on
knuckles for you.
For a game that tries to work on diversity, this was a huge step back, I will say.
Yeah, absolutely. Represent all people. Okay. You've got more number ones, don't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, that was all 3 of those pictures were my number one. They were all examples.
I'm sorry.
They're all examples of gambling in Vidya.
Oh, okay. I fucked that up. So here was what I should have been doing for Landon, for everyone still watching, was showing all of his gambling options.
Right.
I apologize. I thought you were going to list 3 things concurrently as your number one. I didn't understand that all 3 of those things fell into the wheelhouse of your number one, and that's on me.
Sorry about that. I probably should. I should have.
No,
communicated
that's on
that a
me.
little better.
That's for me not having more information and being a not as good of a gamer as I probably should be. So my number one goes back to my childhood ish. It's everyone in this picture but Wolverine from the X-Men video game.
Correct.
So there's only one character in this picture that is fun to play as, and the rest all suck. And so you start the game out as Wolverine, but the way the game works is that when one X-Men character dies, you just pick another one until you work your way through all of them. So you start out with Wolverine and you're like, I'm having a good time. And then he dies and you're like, I'm not having a good time anymore. Guess I'll restart the game.
And down that path a lot.
But anyway, so that's my number one. Joey, what do you think our hit list should be for the next time?
I don't know. I thought maybe.
Didn't you make a suggestion in the chat? What was it?
I did. I made a suggestion as for fantasy characters that you would really like to meet in real life.
Billy said, "Isn't that the Wand of Wonders or whatever?" Is
To
that
me?
yeah, I guess it's in your image.
No, that's very much the Wabbajack.
The Wabbajack.
Oh, this is the Wabbajack.
Yeah, that's the
That's
Wabbajack.
it.
Is this the Wand of Wonders?
No, that's
That is the
Emacs,
Devil Axe.
Or Devil Axe.
Is this the Wand of Wonders?
That is
It could be.
Metronome from Pokemon.
Oh, I don't know any of these things. Grandpa Gaming on Twitch.
Great.
Billy's number one is the zombie voice option.
Saints Row 3.
Yeah, Saints Row 3. It isn't looped at all. They recorded the main character's entire main script in a zombie gibberish. It's really funny but useless because the subtitles are the same too. Oh, Billy said, oh, he's talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl. He said, no, I mean in reference to the lottery scratcher. No, the lottery scratcher is the one that's it's a pudding or level 15 fireball. And then CJ said disabled gigolo names. But yes, so for the next hit list, we will do fantasy characters that you'd like to meet in real life. Spoiler alert, all mine will be Hugh Jackman.
He's not a fantasy character.
He is for me. But anyway,
Wet
for
dreams.
this week, this has been the hit list. Just everybody stare at the camera. Well, that has been our show. First one in 2026 in the can. Great job, guys. Thanks for joining us. We could potentially next week have a new technical director in the studio with us. Someone stepped in to take the position. They have just had some scheduling issues and couldn't be here today. Ideally, they will be here next week, and we will introduce you to them. That being said, we may also have a new host joining us. Again, scheduling issues, but we will see. Otherwise, you just get to hang out with us three chuckleheads again, and I think that's fine. We're fine.
We're good.
Yeah.
We got Grandpa Retro Gaming and whatever the fuck he is, and then Landon is arguably the sexiest human being to have ever existed.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's what I like to be described as. Yeah, just fine.
Yeah.
It's actually in my Tinder bio. All
right.
Billy said next week on Grandpa Gaming, up on the controller means forward now. And then I'll probably do like a 25-minute dialogue on why fucking jokes aren't funny anymore. But anyway, thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you for being in the comments. Thank you for being a part of the show. We really enjoy having you here. Joey, got anything you'd like to say to the nice people?
Well, thanks for joining. And happy.
Got anything I didn't already say?
Probably not.
Landon, what do you got to say to the people?
Tired.
Just like always, thank you all for tuning in. You know, you're the part that actually makes this a show. Because if nobody was watching this, we'd all just be talking to the walls. So, honest to God, really, thank you.
Yep. So for Cutting Edge Hero, you guys have been great. We've been Cutting Edge Hero. We'll see you next time.
See y'all.
Bye.
You got this.
You got it. Come on.